You can see the direction Henyard's defense is going, her defense team is going. He is going to attempt to shift the blame for the questionable spending onto Keith Freeman, Henyard's former top aide.
Keith Freeman made the decision on how these funds are being used. Keith Freeman is going on these trips. You understand, this is a new mayor. This is someone that is new to this job. She relied on Freeman to tell her. He's telling her this is how we do things.
The attorney is suggesting that Henyard, as a new mayor, relied on Freeman to guide her in how things were done in Dalton, implying that she was not responsible for decisions made regarding the extravagant purchases. This is her defense. It's all Keith Freeman's fault. You may have noticed that if you watched my video where she was under deposition, basically saying, I don't run the day-to-day. It's all Keith Freeman, the village administrator. It's all on him. I didn't know what's going on. You can tell this is where the defense is. Henyard cares about the seniors because the seniors is the ones that are gonna probably vote for her to come back as supervisor. That's what she cares about. She cares about what the seniors think about her and what she is doing. That's why she needed to spend 40 minutes uninterrupted. She did not want to have a regular meeting where she can't speak for 40 minutes uninterrupted without people either saying something or calling out or even going back and forth with the trustees. So this is her way of getting her message out there with the media and everyone watching for her to reach her constituents. The people who are going to vote for her is those seniors. The seniors probably want these events, they want these services, and they're looking at other situations, and she needs to convince them that
Veteran Chicago political consultant Delmarie Cobb says there would be nothing wrong if Henyard were using her own political funds for those promotional materials, especially the billboards.
I actually had a candidate years ago who was running for mayor of Dalton, and that's what we did. We bought billboards along the expressway because if you're coming and going home all day, and one of the things I always say about billboards is they're working when you're asleep.
In 2011, state lawmakers passed a law banning the practice of politicians putting their names on publicly funded signs, spurred by these tollway signs featuring former Governor Rod Blagojevich. That law does not extend to mayors or other elected officials, but election attorney Odelson believes the billboards do violate state election laws.
It's a crime. Yeah, you're using public funds for something that taxpayer dollars shouldn't be used for.
And just when you think you've seen it all, take a look at this. Officer Terry Young last May, 303 hours worked over a 2-week period. That resulted in a single paycheck of more than $13,000.
How? How does a person put in a 2-week pay period, 303 hours? That's impossible. That's impossible.
There's 336
Does he
hours.
never go to sleep?
In fact, there are 336 hours total in 2 weeks, meaning Young was not being paid for only 33 hours over that period. Other officers on the security detail are also racking up overtime paychecks in the multiple thousands of dollars. Mayor, mind if I ask you a couple questions about your security detail?
Absolutely not.
I'm asking her.
Yeah, she said.
Your critics say that you have a significant security detail. First of all, how large is your police department in Dalton, and what is your security detail?
So we have about 45 officers in our village. My security is warranted due to the fact of threats and things of that nature, but what people are not stating is it's in our CBA. That's our collective bargaining agreement. That's our union contract. So it comes with the seat. That's what people are not saying. I didn't make this up. I didn't just create this to say, I want security.
Wrong is wrong, and there's a time to hold people responsible and accountable for their actions. But at some point, there would be 2 officers or 3 officers, and depending on if there was some type of event, it would be more.
We're facing yet another lawsuit. This time is from a barbershop owner. Tyrone Isom Jr. claims Dalton officials improperly denied him a business license. He claims he was working with the village to buy and renovate the building. Then he was told his license was denied.
Good evening. I'm Micah Mater.
And I'm Ray Cortopassi.
New tonight, a scheduled meeting tonight in Thornton Township canceled before it had been able to get off the ground.
In the absence of the township's 5 sitting trustees, Supervisor Tiffany Henyard's attempt at a special meeting was more of a soliloquy.
I am about to address some things as the supervisor.
Breaking this morning, 3 lawsuits just announced against controversial suburban Mayor Tiffany Henyard. The plaintiffs, they are all former employees of Thornton Township and the village of Dalton.
Yeah, we've been reporting for nearly 2 years on allegations of corruption surrounding Henyard in her capacity as Dalton mayor and Thornton Township supervisor. And now we've learned from multiple sources that federal agents are in fact interviewing witnesses. Tiffany Henyard actually has 2 political jobs on 2 public payrolls. As mayor of South Suburban Dalton, or as she calls herself, super mayor, and supervisor of Thornton Township, where she makes over $200,000 a year. Now, before Henyard's election in 2021, Dalton was like any other suburban community with festivals, parades, and its share of problems. But today, Dalton is known more for the mayor herself and the never-ending allegations that she's used and abused her 2 offices at Dalton and Thornton Township for pricey security details, trips to Vegas, unmissable highway billboards, and the curious donation of township tax dollars to a cancer charity named for, you guessed it, Mayor Henyard.
All right, we're Brightwood now. We are in Godly now. We in Bloomington, baby.
I can pretty much map out their entire Springfield trip on the township credit cards.
That's right. Henyard billed thousands of dollars in hotel rooms and meals during the trip to Thornton Township and Dalton credit cards. In addition, the videos show Henyard used multiple village and township vehicles owned by taxpayers to escort the caravan, including a flatbed trailer with a photographer, flying a drone, and a DJ.
We got our mayor right here coming from Dalton, Illinois, walking all the way to Springfield. Y'all make some noise for our mayor, the people's mayor.
But they didn't always walk.
We on motorbikes, baby.
At times, riding electric bikes.
Y'all see my bike?
Our township supervisor.
It looks like a misspending of tax funds. I think that's the biggest. That's the biggest.
Did you and the board vote to give your foundation $10,000?
I'm the face of the foundation. My name is nowhere, sir. I'm the face.
You're the face. What was the purpose of going to Springfield?
Hey, you guys. Hey, she doesn't have any more comments,
No,
guys.
we're going to talk.
She doesn't have any more comments. Thanks, guys.
That's Keith Freeman, whom Henyard hired at both Dalton and Thornton Township and was part of her Springfield walk.
Look at Keith.
Breaking this morning, 3 lawsuits just announced against controversial suburban Mayor Tiffany Henyard. The plaintiffs, they are all former employees of Thornton Township and the village of Dalton. They are all alleging wrongful termination. They include a former HR manager, a public works administrative assistant, and the buildings department director. Their allegations include retaliation and firings over things that they refused to do for Henyard, like punishing business owners who did not support her, suppressing FOIA requests, and also the requests, they say, to dig up dirt on other employees. An attorney for the women says that there are several other similar lawsuits right now in the works.
Another new lawsuit filed against embattled Dalton Mayor and Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard.
This time by a 20-year Thornton Township employee who says he was wrongly fired after refusing to comply with an alleged scheme by Henyard's team. The lawsuit says Henyard and her special assistant, Keith Freeman, pressured Dwayne Thrash to fire a school attorney and replace her with another law firm. Thrash claims he was offered a $10,000 pay increase weeks prior to facilitating this change. After he refused, he says he was fired less than a month later. We've reached out to Mayor Henyard's team about this lawsuit and have not.
Trustees voted to open an investigation into Mayor Henyard and invited everyone from the state's attorney to the FBI to come to Dalton and open the books. Well, trustees got their wish when we broke the news that FBI agents were in fact interviewing witnesses as part of a federal investigation, and then entering the fray. Supervisor. And now we've learned from multiple sources that federal agents are in fact interviewing witnesses as part of a possible investigation that may or may not result in charges. Did the FBI agents you talked to seem serious about
very serious
concerns?
Very serious. Very.
Lawrence Gardner owns a U-Haul rental and trucking business in South Suburban Dalton and says he went to the FBI several months ago frustrated that the Village of Dalton would not renew his business license. Gardner says he's been harassed and his business raided and shut down by Dalton police. He believes because he refused to make a donation to a civic event sponsored by Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Gardner is one of 6 people who confirmed to Fox 32 that they've been interviewed by the FBI, ranging from Dalton business owners to a former village employee and at least one public official. And we've learned the FBI has been using electronic surveillance as part of its investigation.
Be highly legal and unethical at the same time.
So we all can agree this is highly incompetent and unethical. A little bit of both. Because how could someone do this thinking they can be able to get away with it? They're too incompetent to have this much money. They pissed it away, basically. And then unethical. But is it illegal? That's the question. And that's why we have the FBI. They served subpoenas on the township and the village, where federal prosecutors have charged Keith Freeman, Henyard's former top aide, with bankruptcy fraud. And now Freeman is now cooperating with the trustees investigating Henyard's spending.
Former Chicago Mayor and federal prosecutor Lori Lightfoot discussing her initial findings of an investigation into the spending habits of Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard and her administration. Some of the key findings: no annual report or audit since 2021. The general fund for day-to-day operations in the red with $3.65 million. Police department expenditures up 21%, with 2 officers paid more in overtime pay than regular pay. As of June 18th, 589 checks totaling more than $6 million approved but not sent to vendors. 6 different credit cards with receipts rarely provided, and purchases under investigation, including $40,000 in charges to Amazon.
I knew we were broke, and the way she broke it down and just let the other residents hear what was really going on, because Tiffany Henyard always talk about fake news, and this is
overall, it tells me that the investigation is expanding. It's not just focusing on the city of Dalton.
Former FBI agent Ross Rice says the subpoenas revealed the burgeoning scope of the federal criminal investigation into Thornton Township Supervisor and Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard. One subpoena focuses entirely on Henyard, including 2 businesses she owns, a restaurant and a property management company, as well as Henyard's political fund and the charity bearing her name.
Overwhelming. At first it was like it was just me by myself. And a year later for me to see y'all standing with me here for thank you so much, Mom. This means so much to me. But I still want everybody to know I'm standing with you too. If you're a survivor with me, please come stand with me.
The political drama in Dalton, Illinois, took a dramatic turn during a recent board meeting when an attorney representing several plaintiffs against Mayor Tiffany Henyard publicly confronted her, exposing a litany of accusations that have plagued the community for months. The heated exchange, which was captured on video and widely shared, marked a pivotal moment in the ongoing saga that has gripped the town of 20,000 residents. Dalton, a small village on the outskirts of Chicago, has been mired in controversy since Mayor Tiffany Henyard took office. Allegations of financial mismanagement, abuse of power, and retaliation have created an atmosphere of fear and distrust among residents. The town's financial troubles are glaring. Dalton is burdened with millions of dollars in debt, unpaid bills, and a deficit that threatens essential services, including the possible repossession of police vehicles. Under Henyard's leadership, accusations of misconduct have only grown. Former trustee Valeria Stubbs, a vocal critic of the mayor, has repeatedly accused Henyard of harassment and intimidation, including a disturbing incident where 2 of her tenants' cars were riddled with bullets. Stubbs believes the attack was an attempt to silence her. However, she is not alone in her claims. A former assistant to the mayor and a police officer have also come forward with allegations of harassment and retaliation, adding to the mounting pressure on Henyard. The tension reached a boiling point at a recent Dalton board meeting where attorney Lisa Daniels, representing multiple clients with grievances against Mayor Henyard, publicly confronted her. Daniels, known for her no-nonsense approach and commitment to justice, has become a key figure in the fight against what many see as Henyard's abusive reign. Daniels began her statement by recounting a series of disturbing incidents that have occurred under Henyard's watch. She laid out a timeline of events, starting with the harassment allegations brought by Stubbs, who has accused Henyard of sending city officials to her home in an attempt to intimidate her after she publicly criticized the mayor's leadership. Daniels did not mince words, accusing Henyard of running Dalton like a personal fiefdom, using her position to retaliate against anyone who dared to oppose her. The people of Dalton deserve better, Daniels said, her voice rising as she addressed the board and the audience. They deserve a mayor who is committed to serving the community, not someone who uses their power to bully, intimidate, and silence those who speak out. Daniels also highlighted the severe financial mismanagement that has occurred under Henyard's administration. She criticized the mayor for holding a $1 million giveaway on Facebook earlier this year, despite the town facing a $2 million deficit. This reckless spending, Daniels argued, is indicative of a leader more interested in self-promotion than in addressing the critical needs of the community. One of the most explosive moments of the meeting came when Daniels turned her attention to the allegations of sexual misconduct and retaliation against Henyard's administration. She detailed the harrowing account of Henyard's former assistant, who alleges she was sexually harassed by a trustee during an economic development trip to Las Vegas, a trip that Daniels emphasized was funded by Dalton's taxpayers. The assistant has accused Henyard of protecting the trustee rather than supporting her in the wake of the incident. According to the complaint, after reporting the alleged assault to Henyard, the mayor's primary concern was the potential impact on her own reputation. Instead of taking steps to address the misconduct, Henyard allegedly placed the victim on unpaid medical leave and later terminated her employment. Mayor Henyard's actions show a complete disregard for the safety and well-being of her staff, Daniels declared. Instead of protecting the victim, she protected her own image, and in doing so, she sent a message that those who come forward will be punished, not supported. Adding to the gravity of the situation, Daniels discussed the case of Officer Bion Miles, a Dalton police officer who claims he faced retaliation after acting as a witness in the assistant's sexual misconduct complaint. Miles, who was part of the mayor's security detail, was demoted after speaking out. Daniels argued that this pattern of retaliation is a clear attempt by Henyard to maintain control over the narrative and suppress any opposition. As Daniels spoke, the audience erupted in applause, reflecting the deep frustration and anger that has been building within the community. Many residents who attended the meeting expressed their outrage, not just at the alleged misconduct but also at the broader issues plaguing the town. Dalton's streets are in disrepair, essential services are underfunded, and trust in local law enforcement has eroded to a dangerous level. Residents took turns voicing their concerns during the public comment session. One resident, a small business owner, spoke about how Henyard's administration has made it increasingly difficult for businesses to operate, citing arbitrary revocations of business licenses for those who refuse to financially support the mayor's causes. Another resident, visibly emotional, described how she no longer feels safe in her own home, fearing that she too could become a target if she speaks out. "This is not how a community should be run," one resident shouted. "We should not live in fear of our own government." Throughout Daniels' impassioned speech, Mayor Henyard sat stone-faced, occasionally whispering to her advisors but largely maintaining an air of indifference. When it was her turn to speak, Henyard dismissed the accusations as politically motivated attacks from disgruntled former employees. She accused Daniels and others of trying to tarnish her reputation and undermine the progress she claims to have made in Dalton. "I have always acted in the best interests of the people of Dalton," Henyard said, her tone defiant. "These accusations are nothing more than an attempt to distract from the real issues and the work we are doing to move this town forward." However, Henyard's defense did little to sway public opinion. Many residents feel that the mayor's continued refusal to address the specific allegations head-on, combined with her pattern of vetoing board resolutions that call for transparency, only reinforces the perception that she has something to hide. The meeting also highlighted the ongoing federal investigation into Henyard's activities. Subpoenas have been issued demanding financial records and documentation related to Henyard's business dealings, her political action committee, and her charity. Former FBI agent Ross Rice noted that the scope of these subpoenas indicates a serious inquiry into possible corruption, misuse of public funds, and other financial crimes. Attorney Daniels made it clear that the federal investigation is a critical step toward accountability. She urged the residents of Dalton to remain vigilant and to continue demanding transparency from their leaders. Daniels' call to action resonated deeply with those in attendance, many of whom have lost faith in local law enforcement and the village's ability to conduct a fair and impartial investigation. "The federal authorities are watching, and so are we," Daniels said. "We will not stop until justice is served, and we will hold those responsible accountable, no matter how high up it goes." The board meeting served as a stark reminder of the deep divisions within Dalton and the urgent need for change. The town's financial instability, coupled with the numerous allegations against its mayor, has left residents feeling betrayed and disillusioned. The continued presence of federal investigators suggests that this saga is far from over, and many are hopeful that the truth will eventually come to light. For now, Dalton remains a town in turmoil. Mayor Henyard's tenure has been marked by controversy, and the accusations against her paint a picture of a leader more concerned with self-preservation than with serving the community. The heated confrontation between Attorney Daniels and Henyard at the board meeting was not just a moment of high drama, it was a call to action for a town that has been pushed to its breaking point. As investigations proceed and the pressure mounts, the residents of Dalton are left with one pressing question: will their voices finally be heard, or will the cycle of intimidation and corruption continue? The outcome of this unfolding story will have profound implications for Dalton's future, and it will serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of integrity, accountability, and the unwavering pursuit of justice in local government.